What's up, guys? How's it going? So those of you that watch my channel on a regular basis understand that I'm a preparedness-based channel. And the whole tagline of my YouTube channel is building a life you love living through preparedness-based homesteading. A lot of you have noticed I've been doing overlanding content recently, and there's a reason behind that. The short answer is, as preparedness people, we want to have our bug out bags and bug out vehicles and alternate locations, and we want to make sure that we don't get caught with our feet flat on the ground, and we're ready to help ourselves in any way that we need and help others. You know, whenever everybody else's normal stops, we want to continue ours. That's at least kind of my definition of preparedness, is being able to continue your life normal when everyone else's stops. And there's really, I don't think anybody would question whenever you said having an overlanding vehicle that you can take out with your family, that's reliable and you can enjoy yourself, is the absolute best way to really put a pressure test and prove a bug out system. Because really it's pretty much the same thing. Overlanding is, vehicle-based travel that's self-reliant to remote locations for entertainment. Overlanding is a leisurely activity. It's something we do because we enjoy doing it. It's recreation. Whereas bug out is more of something's dangerous here, and we need to get to where it's less dangerous or good even. And so there is a little bit of overlap between the two. Given all of the natural disasters that we keep hearing about, man, these floods and earthquakes and all this stuff that just, it seems like it's never ending in the news cycle. Having a bug out rig is, I don't think you're with the real world if you don't see a need for that, And you may be bugging out to a hotel, which is an absolutely acceptable option. Don't let anybody tell you that. That's actually my first option, is I just want to go stay in a hotel until everything gets a little better, Whether that be a wildfire coming through, which I've got a video on my channel about where we did have to bug out for that. Our primary bug out location was also compromised, even though it was 60 miles away. It was compromised by the same fire within 2 or 3 hours. So we had to go to an alternate. And, having the ability to get a set of gear that you've tested and proven, load that into a vehicle, and take off. That's basically what an overlanding rig is. It's a daily driver that you can drive in adverse conditions, that's reliable, and you can be self-reliant out of. So there's a lot of overlap there. And that's a good portion of the reason why I'm doing this overlanding content, is I want to improve at it. Part of the reason why, we're shopping for another vehicle is because, my son's 15. He's going to need something to drive soon. If I've got to shop for another vehicle, it might as well be something that can be, preparedness related and overlandish. I still haven't quite found what I'm looking for yet, but we're hoping to get that done soon. There's a lot of things I want to do with this series. I want to test some of the more expensive gear, although it is absolutely not needed. And I have no idea how I'm going to pay for any of that, but that'll be something we'll get to as the time comes. We'll grease that bearing when we get there. But yeah, I absolutely encourage you to call it overlanding, call it off-road camping, call it car camping. Even if it's just taking every couple months a fishing trip, or go to the lake, or just go drive some Forest Service roads and do an overnight somewhere. It truly is the absolute test of your bug out system. You're going to work out all the bugs. You're going to figure out what doesn't work. You're going to figure out what you can do better. It's going to give you ideas on what to change. You're going to figure out what the actual range and mileage of your vehicle is. How much fuel do you burn while you've idled for 2.5 hours. That's what overlanding gives us the ability to learn and make improvements from, let alone the fact that it's really enjoyable. Like I've said in other videos, we have these millions of acres of public land that we need to use. Some of the most beautiful scenery in the world exists here in the United States, which is where most of my viewers are. And to be able to get out and explore that, drive to a location, park, set up a base camp, and in a half a day, you could possibly be able to hike to some place that is remote enough that wildlife there has never seen a human. There's just not many opportunities to be able to do that. Go and explore some of these old mining sites. Some of these feeder canyons that go into Grand Canyon National Park are worthy of being national parks, almost just as big as the Grand Canyon itself. Getting out in the wilderness and away from lights and away from trash, away from people, it really is fun. And I enjoy that aspect of it too. It is highly recreational for me as well. And I cannot overlook the fact that it is absolutely wonderful practice. It tests our systems. Get out and do hard things. Put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Let your children learn what it's like to sleep whenever it's maybe not bitter cold, but most people have never slept whenever the air temperature is in the 50s. Going out and testing that stuff and letting everybody know that, hey, you're tougher than what you actually thought. Get out. Don't be afraid to get out whenever it's snowing. Don't be afraid to get out in the summer heat. Learn how to, prepare adequately for that stuff, because the time may become whenever you might actually have to do it. And it takes this whole preparedness thing and turns it into something that is a really fun family event. And I guess that's most of the reason why I've been really focusing on this is, one, I really enjoy doing it, and it's something I want to share with you guys and get advice from y'all, because I've learned more from posting YouTube videos than reading and watching YouTube videos, like by far. So I encourage y'all, take the vehicle you got, and let's start learning this whole thing together. Until next time, y'all be safe.